Brother, just let me know when I gonna start. It is a natural way of telling you have been going through the motion, your soul has departed.
has departed.
You are
You
Jombik,
are so big,
a member of
a member of
walking dead,
walking
a
dead, a
sleepwalker.
sleepwalker.
False
False
optimism is like
optimism is like
administration
administration
stimulation to an
stimulation
exhausted
to an
nervous.
exhausted nervous.
Yes, I'm talking
Yes,
about
I'm
the
talking
burnout.
about the burnout.
Hello, everyone. Good
Hello,
morning,
everyone.
good
Good
afternoon,
morning,
good
good
evening to
afternoon,
all
good evening
who
to all
join from the different
join
parts of
from
the
the
world
different parts of the
today.
world today.
And of course,
And
we have
of course, we
invited
have
you and welcome
invited
you to
you and
another
welcome you to
inspiring
another
live show
inspiring
from
live
Global
show
Youth
from
Mental Health
Global Youth
Awareness
Mental Health
GMA.
Awareness GMA.
So, in this
So in this
today's session, we are gonna have a great panelist to talk about the burnout. So, let me introduce the panelist. Panelist Dawda Mutio Abdul Karim, who is the GMHA Ambassador Coordinator. Then another panelist of today, that is OK Boluwatife Elizabeth, GMHA Volunteer and Mental Health Advocate. We have Debra Njuka, the Project Support Officer at GMHA and fourth year Bachelor Psychology student. And also we have a Xavier and Tawolo, Project Support Officer at GMHA. So it's gonna be a great, inspiring Facebook Live show that you can able to understand what is burnout and its pros and cons, all the things together. So let me share you such a not simple information regarding the burnout. Actually, it's happened to everyone at some points or another. Our life gets busy with going there and here, working, helping others, or taking care of our families. But sometimes we get too busy and forget to take back and rest. That is when the burnout can occur. Burnout is a form of exhaustion caused by constantly feeling swamped. It's a result of excessive and prolonged emotional, psychological, and mental stress. Mental stress, and in many cases, burnout is related to the one's job. So I'm not going through that much. So let's hear this matter from our panelists. So my first question is, what are your thoughts on burnout? So I would like to invite Dawda Mateo Abdul Karim, Jimha Ambassador Coordinator. Can you please share your thoughts and ideas about this question? What are the thoughts of burnout? Dear Honorable Dawda Mateo Abdul Karim, are you there? Okay. Dear Honorable Dawda Abdul Karim, I can see you. Can you please unmute yourself? Honorable. Okay. We can hear you, brother. Can you please unmute yourself? Okay, no problem. It can be happen. So let's hear the same question from the Deborah and Yuka. So Deborah, please share your views. what are your views regarding the burnout?
All right. So my views on burnout. Am I loud enough?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Okay. Let me continue. So my views on burnout are that it actually does happen to all of us. You find yourself one day, you no longer feel motivated to go for work. You're just emotionally drained. It's not as interesting. You forget why you started. So I feel burnout is actually a normal thing. People just don't know what it's called. Some people would be mistake it for stress. They'll be like, no, work has been stressful. Or they're just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just not in the mood to go for work, not knowing they're actually experiencing burnout.
Wow. Thank you so
Wow.
much
Thank
for
you
your
so much
views.
for.
So let's hear from the Dawda Abdul Karim. So, my dear brother, can you please share that what are your thoughts regarding the burnout?
Yeah, burnout, from my understanding, is when you feel stressed out, extremely stressed at any given task. It can be explained further by looking at scenarios whereby maybe you are working and you got exhausted, so you couldn't think again. Maybe the ideas are being clustered. You can't find a way to loosen them up. Against burnout is what we call burnout. So it can be said to be a person is being exhausted or feel extremely stressed. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, I understand. Even I agree with you that yes. So that's the next question is this is similar like the first questions. So what are the sign of burnout? Even how can you actually know that you are experiencing the burnout situation? So I would like to get the answer from the Deborah first. Then I will go for the my dear brother Dawud Abdul Karim. So Deborah, can you please share your views? What are the sign of burnout?
All right, I'll start with sharing the emotional signs and symptoms of burnout. So we have loss of motivation to go for work, whereby you wake up in the morning, you're not motivated to go for work, you feel detached from your work. Maybe it's been your career of passion since childhood, but then you suddenly feel detached, you feel helpless, you feel like you can't sort out your work problems. Then also on the physical signs, we have feeling tired and drained most of the time. I think a lot of people have woken up after maybe getting 8 hours of sleep, but still felt tired, too tired to actually do their work. Others also experience a change in sleep and appetite. Maybe your appetite reduces or it increases. Then we also have headaches. You go for work every day, you're complaining about having a headache, muscle pains, you don't know what's really wrong. Those could be signs of burnout. Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much. You have shared some of the symptoms or sign of burnout. So let's hear the same question from my dear brother, Dawood Abdul Karim. So, brother,
Okay. As affects all aspects of human life, emotional, physical. When you are being stressed emotionally, or physically, and mentally, it's said to be. So the signs of burnout can be seen in aspect of productivity. When someone is being creative, let's say for example at the early hour of work or in a company or an organization, it tends to be very active and it solves some certain given tasks. But at a long run, experience this stress out, maybe mentally from your mental affects your sense of thinking. So you won't be able to think straight, and your rate will now reduce. So we'll see a reduction of productivity as by the time we experience our inability to think very well and to perform solution or to be are experiencing burnout. Then fatigue in the sense that whereby you feel or reluctant, maybe for a long period, you'll be set on a chair working from 8 to 2, and you can't keep going. Maybe your legs or your buttocks is paining you. So that's the sign that you are being, for you to understand that aspect, that you're experiencing burnout at that state of or at that time. So another um, uh, low mood, low mood in the sense that, for example, everyone tends to mood depending on the environment and the nature of people they meet. But if a happy person, or let me say, very jovial and lively, is being seen to be dull, that means there is something wrong with that person. Maybe in the sense of there's something wrong with that person. So that person is said to be experiencing burnout. So those are signs and symptoms of burnout.
Well, thank you so much, dear brother. Yes, you both actually cover all the symptoms of sign. Yes, dear honorable participant, and whoever watching for the different parts of the world and who will be watching the later on, I'm just focusing that we are talking about the burnout. What does it mean? And already our panelists shared the burnout meaning and some symptoms. So if you have any certain question regarding that, you can share the Facebook Live comment box. We will definitely let you know the answer as well. Even we can see that in our Facebook post, we can see the Bera from FIMC CMC who are joining from the Nigeria. Thank you so much joining and watching us. Even we can see the Elisha Wakho who also with us and share the amazing panelists. Yes, they are. Thank you so much for being with us. And yes, of course, we will watch later. We are really appreciate you, and definitely this Facebook live show will definitely give you some information and some pros and cons regarding the burnout that you will definitely let it know, and that can actually work if you want, if you are actually facing the burnout situation. So move on to the next question. So my next question to Deborah and Joka first, and that is the question is, are there certain time of year when you are susceptible to burnout?
I think so. Yes, I do believe so, because even stress, when you look at stress, you know, that certain times of the year, certain seasons when you are more prone to stress. I feel burnout is the same. It and I feel it's different for each and everyone, because you know what, different. For some, it may be during the cold season, winter, while others it's spring. You know, I feel it's different for every individual.
All right, thank you. So, what about your opinion, my dear brother Dauda? What you have the
Can you come
opinion?
again with the question? Can you come
Okay,
again with the question, please?
sure. Question is there, are there certain times of year when you are more susceptible to burnout? Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. You're muted.
Sorry. I
It's okay,
was
absolutely
having
fine.
difficulties in that technical difficulties. Or let me say, period in which one experience likely to experience burnout. I would say burnouts are in every aspect of life, from the childhood to the adulthood. From childhood, we'll see are feeling some kind of, maybe because of too much of play. They play a lot, so they come. My leg is paining me, my hand is paining me. It's a sign of burnout because they've undergone excessive play. But research, other stage, adulthood, and in your old age. But research has shown that uh, recent 21 show that people that are likely to at the age of 32, that is the workforce age. Meanwhile, concerning the aspect of the age, or let me say the time or period in which likely to experience burnout is debatable, because you find out that some scholars argue that it is maybe during the retirement age of some people around the age of 60s to 70. Maybe the fact that they cannot exercise or they cannot be power has reduced. So there is that is a sign of, so the sign of or the age, or let me say time in which one is likely to experience burnout on the perspective in which one tends to understand it. So it can be from the childhood, can be from the work. It depends on the symptoms and sign, or let me say the mode or the effect, how it came and what makes it to happen. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It depends on the times. It depends on the situation. Even it depends on the own activities and some other things. Thank you so much for articulating such a perfectly way. So let's move on. And before that, we can have another comments from Vera. Honorable Vera actually shared that the other nice one on the definition of burnout and the sign and symptoms. Yes, Vera, you have a great comments. Wow. Yes, you can see it on screen. Thank you so much for supporting the Honorable Vera, and we actually like to have you the entire time. So let's move on. The next question. So the next question is to Devra Juga. So can you please answer the next question that are there any steps that people can take to prevent themselves from burning out?
All right. The first step I can start with is that rest. Resting is very important because when you look at the definition of burnout itself, it's actually exhaustion, feeling exhausted, feeling drained, not motivated to work. So the first thing is rest. And also after rest, we have, when it comes to the work aspect, take up things you're able to manage. Don't keep on piling the things you have to do because it leads to burnout. So take a workload that you are capable of. Then also there's finding a balance between every aspect of your life. So there's the work, your professional life, there's your social life, and there's family and friends. You need to find a balance with all that. Then also, it's important when you feel you're getting burnt out, it's important to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing, because it's going to help you remember why you started and why you have to keep going on. Then also, there's talking to someone. If you feel the workload is getting too much and you don't know what to do, you could always talk to a friend, workmate, even a therapist. And if you also feel like you're getting burnt out, it's actually important, especially if it's at work. It's important you talk to your boss to ask for maybe a day off, such you can, just get rest, such if you well rested and you're able to take up the workload. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, as you can see, our another great actually participant, the Honorable Vera, actually continuously commenting and inspiring us. Thank you so much for being with us. We highly actually appreciate your ongoing support. Yes, we can see another comment from Olufemi Afulabi, and actually he's sharing that helpful discussion. And we can see another comments from Sheer Grace Abraham. I just joined from the Nigeria. Yes, thank you so much for joining with us, and we really appreciate you. And okay, let's move on. The same question to my dear brother Dawood Abdul Karim: that are there any steps that people can take that prevent themselves from burning out? Yes, my dear brother, the question is towards you. Can you please share your opinion? Well, this is all about happened for technical glitch. Doesn't matter. And yes, whenever our another panelist will come in, we can have the same question to get the answer. So let's move on. Okay. So yes, so Deborah and Yuka, so we have another question to you, and we have to wait for our brother Dauda Abdul Karim. Yes, we can see my dear brother already joined. This kind of leader we actually wanted. In spite of having so much obstacles and glitch of network, he or she can't give up. Thank you so much, my dear brother Dawood Abdul Karim, for joining with us. So move on to the next question to Deborah, and we will ask the previous question, my dear brother. Yes, brother, can you hear us? My dear brother Dawood Abdul Karim, can you hear us? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfectly. We can hear you even.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can
I was
watching you
having,
perfectly.
yeah, I was
Okay, the
having
same
network
the
issue.
question. It doesn't
Okay.
matter. Network can be actually network glitch. It's very common things in our social medias right now. So yes, we are really glad to have your opinion or answer regarding the question that are there any steps that people can take to prevent themselves from burning out?
Okay. The steps in which people can take to prevent burning out. Looking at the symptoms and the effects of burning out, one, we look at fatigue, let's say tiredness. Looking at that aspect, maybe, for example, in a workplace, in an office environment, one started with a lighter load or a lighter position, then you are very active. Then later on, you are being overloaded with a lot of tasks in which it's kind of numerous for you to carry out at the same time, despite the fact that, yeah, we know all human beings can multitask, but there are some tasks that are beyond human capacity. So at that state, when you find out that, yes, your ability, or let me say your kind of being cannot handle a lot of tasks like that, first thing you do in some organization, you'll be given privilege to communicate to maybe your supervisor. So at that, you first of all communicate to your supervisor and try to see how the workload can be reduced. Meanwhile, there are some aspects, or let me say, some areas of work, maybe in your domestic work, or let me say, social works, whereby it's kind of excess for you and it becomes exhausted. Maybe you feel you can't continue from there. There's need for you to also find support. That is trusted person in which you could talk to, or you could give a certain task, or you could trust with a certain task to carry out for you or to complete for you. And also, there is need for you to get enough sleep. For example, in work place, we know it's not ethical to be sleeping at the office, but by the time you are working on a specific project or a specific assignment being assigned to you, and you feel busy a bit, there's this privilege you could take maybe 5 minutes to 3 minutes nap to re-strategize or reset your mental state. Because by the time you continue with that tiredness or mental cluster you're having, you tend to malfunction physically, whereby you'll be mixing ideas and maybe doing the wrong thing instead of the right thing. So there's need for you to take a 5 minute sleep. Meanwhile, when you get home after work, you try to get enough sleep so that the fatigue, or let me say the tiredness, will be relieved before the next day, whereby you go to work. And also, you do mindful exercises. Sometimes we are short of ideas, or maybe we don't know what we want to do the next day. So there's need for you to, sometimes when people engage in, let me say, yoga, or maybe after waking up in the morning, before you set your goal, you engage yourself on 10 minutes silence, so that you'll be able to have a, a arrangement in your mind of what you want to do that day, and how do you think it is possible or humanly possible for you to achieve that task. So those are ways in which you could prevent burnout. So whenever you experience some of these signs and symptoms, try to see how you could take some of these preventive measures, like sleep, enough sleep, talk to trusted persons, try to engage in mindful exercises, try to free your mind, like take a walk. Sometimes you don't need to sit all day on your chair. You need to take a walk for some ideas to come in to relieve that stress of sitting for a long period. Thank you very much.
Wow, such a great way to discuss, to share. And yes, of course, I do believe that all the participants who have joined from the different parts of the world today and will watch later on, you have shared such a great way. How can we deal with whenever we have the burnout situation? And thank you so much. I will definitely follow your instruction for my end, because whenever I work in office with so much pressure, and sometimes burnout is happening in my life. So yes, I will definitely take care of your all your ideas that need to be followed to be a more productive person. And yes, of course, I would like to give the gratitude to whoever commenting in the Facebook chat box. We can see a lot of comments. Yes, Alicia, thank you so much for your comments. You can you actually shared the good one, the multiplicity of tasks to be carried out by one person is a key factor. Thank you so much. And we can see Abraham also shared that, wow, is loaded. And yes, question please. So Abraham, if you have any question, please share the question in the chat box so that we can actually get the answer from our panelists, as well as some specialist person that you are looking for to get the answer perfectly. And yes, I would like to throw a question to all of you, that when you are actually facing the burnout situation, what your react will be, I mean, what's happened, what was your react, and what will be the your prevention way to get out the burnout? So please share that in the chat box. And as well as I have the same actually in connection with this the steps to reduce or to prevent the burnout. I have a question in related to the panelist. And yes, we can see the Alicia comment. And this is a quite interesting session. Martializing out of intended activities for each day would be go a long way in reducing burnout. Bravo. Such a great comment. And you can see Abraham also focused the workout of losing a loved one. What can you say about that? Thanks. Wow, superb. So yes, we actually love and appreciate your ongoing message and contribution in our today's live session. So my question to to the panelists, please, you can give the answer later on. So I just throw a question apart from our listing question. So if any minorities or if any people with disability, if any people who are not mentally stable, if they are facing the burnout, so how can and where they can get the solution? So this the question we throw the panelists and all the participant or all the psychologists and psychiatrists. You can share your opinion later on. So let's move on to the next question of today. So yes, let's get the answer from the Deborah. Deborah, I have a question that is, how do you take care of yourself when you feel like you are burning out?
Okay, so how I take care of myself when I feel I'm burning out. First things first is I lessen my social media interactions, because I feel that also adds on overwhelming me. Then also I take days off a lot. So when I feel I'm burning out, I'm going to take a day off so that I can rest and make sure I have enough energy for the tasks ahead of me. Then also I have self-care. I really indulge in self-care because I feel it helps lessen the stress I have. Then there's also journaling. I'm a person who's always writing down. So if I have things to do, I'm going to write a to-do list. If I have all these thoughts on my head, I'm just going to write them down. And I feel journaling really helps me sort out my issues. It helps me lessen my stress levels. It even helps me when I'm going through burnout. Yes.
Wow, such a great way. Yes, I just pick one thing, that is we have to have the to-do list so that we can have that what kind of situation, what kind of ongoing work and upcoming work is going on. And yes, thank you so much. You have a great concern about yourself. That should be for each and everyone to have the healthy life, right? So yes, let's have the same question answer from my dear brother Daud Abdul Karim, that how do you take care of yourself when you feel like you are burning out?
Yeah, I personally have a method in which I take care of myself whenever I feel burnout. I woke up from sleep. Let me start from there. From bed, I go blackout, whereby I don't know what I'm supposed to do that day. Because I engage myself in meditation for like 10 minutes to get of what I have to do for that particular day. And meanwhile, according to their importance, because there are some tasks I will have to do that complete them as human. Normally, human has flaws. We can't actually achieve everything we want in a period of time. That's number one. Secondly, when I am at work, maybe I feel, or maybe I'm feeling a kind of cluster in idea, don't know which to put in, is that I try to discuss with my colleague or a friend to see how I could tackle or solve that particular issue, because one of my of knowledge. So we don't, even if it's my junior, anybody at all around me, I feel, yeah, something to offer. I try to engage in discussion, because sometimes you don't know where ideas will come in from that will help you solve some specific. Sometimes also, most times, let me say, because I don't like playing games, I will say, but I love listening. When I see that I'm having some mental issue, to maybe walk over that, or to maybe have a solution, music and Afrobeat to be specific, then maybe supplement of other source of. So I engage myself in exercise, physical exercise every Saturdays, to make sure that I'm physically healthy. Because whenever I'm not physically healthy, sick, I won't be able to perform some certain tasks, which is actually exercising is one of my hobby also. Then again, I found out that throughout the week, I've engaged myself in achieve my goal, trying to meet up to taxes being given to me and some taxes I give. With the weekend, I actually take a day off for myself to engage in social friends, to like catch fun, maybe play football. Sometimes we talk, we crack jokes, we discuss how we solve issues and make each other laugh over some certain issues. So these are the steps in which I take to, and actually I won't forget the last one, sleep. I ensure that I have 8 hours sleep. What my schedule is, I try to carve it out to maintain that 8 hours at least, so that I won't be able to physically and mentally. The next day, actually, if you don't sleep enough, if you don't get enough sleep, you won't on your desk, and some tasks are required of you to carry it out at a particular time due to lack of sleep. We are doing some things that are not actually important at that period. So majorly, I like doing things according to their importance, time, and discipline of what to do. Thank you.
Wow, such impactful and greatly articulated that what you have been doing for your take care and your self care, whatever you say. And yes, that what is required. Dear honorable participant, have you ever noted or point out, and there's some taken away points from my dear honorable Devra as well as dear honorable Dawud Abdul Karim. So you can have a great way to think about and even take care of yourself perfectly to be a healthy life, to lead a healthy life. So yes, dear honorable panelists, I think I can see that we have a question. Yes. So I would like to get the answer from anyone. Anyone can give the answer. So question is, my question is it really easy or realistic to avoid a burnout? Because the circumstances are surrounding burnout seems unavoidable and inevitable. So what can we do or one do? So anyone can give the answer, dear panelist.
Let me attempt. I won't say I'm giving answer, but I'm attempting that is being asked. Yes, actually, if you look at burnout in its nature, something we can't run away from. You are right. Realistically, you. But at this point, what you do is that you look at. That's the reason why we are organizing. Look at how we can minimize, reduce burnout, because in our activity, or let's say in recent times, burnout is actually increasing by the day, or havoc to human health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So the easiest is by going with the preventive measure in which we have discussed previous question to tackle burnout. So it's true you can't avoid burnout uh, in 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 your lifetime, but there is need for you to know when you are experiencing burnout. That is number one. When you are experiencing burnout, and what kind of burnout. You knowing the kind of burnout you are experiencing will give you the idea on the solution to use in tackling that burnout. You can't preventive measure to tackle emotional preventive burnout. So it's varied in its nature. You need to know the kind of burnout you are experiencing and pick the possible solution from what to tackle your burnout. And you could also go on research to also add to the knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, panelist, my dear brother. I hope, my dear honorable Vera, you have get the answer from our dear panelist, and we can see we actually throw a question to all of the participants that for the minorities and what should we do in the minorities if they have the facing the burnout situation. So Alicia shared that well for the disadvantaged or minorities or the people with a special disability. So, one among many ways of reducing burnout from them is it to show deep and sincere act of care, concern, and love to them. Absolutely, absolutely great answer. Yes, of course, if we actually go through and show the deep and sincere act of care, concern, and love, we are definitely acknowledge the situation of burnout they actually have been facing. So thank you so much, Alicia, for being with us, for answering the question perfectly. We can see that, yes, watching for the new work. Thank you so much, dear Honorable Jahora Jannat. So we are really, really appreciate your support, and we appreciate your ongoing contribution. So let's move on to the next question. And the question is very, very noble and is very great thing. So yes, we can see the another comments from my dear Shio Grace Abraham. Workout after losing a loved one. What can you say about that? So yes, this is a question to the towards the panelists. Can you please answer the question? That is, workout after losing a loved one. What can you say about that? If anyone
If
losing the
anyone
loved
losing
one,
the loved one,
what can you say about that?
When it comes to losing a loved one, I really believe we should give ourselves time to actually experience the emotions of loss. We have to experience grief. We have to give ourselves the time to actually experience and accept. And it's hard to move on. But then, if we at least give ourselves the time to, like, hurt, cry, grieve, feel sad about it, I feel it makes other things easier. So that's why we have, setting time aside for yourself, because you have to grieve. And grieving is a whole 5-step process. You'll be in denial at first, you won't want to eat, but then at least when you set aside that time for yourself, it's a one step forward type of a thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your views. And also focusing on is all about if you're losing the loved one. Actually, we can't actually mitigate the loss of loved one, but we have to move on for the smoothen life. For if the loved one actually left for the world, left from the world, so we can actually pray for them. If the loved one left from your life, so we can also pray for them, because I think for your prayer that could be a great positive work from you to move on yourself. Because if you love someone, someone definitely let you believe if he or she love you. So thank you so much for your such a nice question. So let's move on to the, yeah, my dear brother, do you want to say something about that?
Okay, can I say something on that?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, please go on.
yeah. Uh, you've all the points you've established. Yeah, it's normal. Or let me start from this point. All living beings need to have this idea that losing a loved one is a natural, will definitely happen, if not at that particular time, but it will happen in due course. But what we need to also know at that particular period whereby we are through some emotional burnout, or let me say we are going through emotional uh, pains for losing that lost one, we are grieving. But also understand that mental illness is connected. Okay, let me say it's connected with self, and it's also connected in its own kind of nature. Whereby when you tend to grieve a lot, it tends to cause your health. So there's need for you to know the limitation in which you grieve to. That's why you need to know that losing a loved one is a natural phenomenon. Yes, it should have limits, because sometimes by the time we continue having this emotional pain and trauma because of this incident, and from there one would think of following the loved one because of maybe the nature of or the volume of love one has for that person. You think, which is very, very important for us to note in our nowadays generation or our nowadays life. So please, whenever you are work out uh, the aspect of you losing someone, you should have limits in which you do some certain mourning, because it's your mental health is actually at stake at that period. You won't know, but by the time it starts manifesting your way, because you won't know when and how it's happened. Thank you.
Yes, actually, I can see my words actually shared by the Honorable Biran. Next explanation, my dear brother. Thank you so much for your ongoing perfect answer. So let's move on to the next question. And next question towards the Deborah, Honorable Deborah. I would like to get the answer that do you have any advice for people who are starting to feel burnout in their career? Basically, this is happening for the youth, for the the huge number of unemployed youth have been increasing drastically in my country, Bangladesh, as well as some other parts of the country who are not getting the opportunities to get involved in their career. So, do you have any advice for people who are starting to feel burnout in their career? So, dear Honorable Deborah, please.
All right. So especially about the youths that are facing unemployment, for them, I feel the first point is, be creative. Yes, you do not have a job and you're starting to regret. Maybe you had a lot of people telling you, no, don't go into this career, you won't find jobs, not go into that. And then, you're done with your studies, you're unemployed, and then all those thoughts just keep coming back in your mind. You're like, I should have listened. Well, you could try be creative. You could also start doing voluntary work. Keep doing what you do, even though you're not getting paid at the end of it all. At least you're doing something you love, and it's lessening you listening to all those negative thoughts. So be creative, do voluntary work, just be out there, be doing something within your profession. Yes. Then also,
Absolutely.
yeah, then also the other advice I would give is that, if you're at work, if you're in an organization and you're starting to feel burnt out and you've tried resting, it doesn't seem enough, you could talk to the human resource officers or maybe your direct supervisor. You could talk to the person you're supposed to talk to, and you could request for some days off. You could request for some days off and tell them to say, my mental health is actually at stake because I'm experiencing this and it's been going on for so long and it's actually affecting my productivity at work. And also learn to set boundaries at work. You're being given more workload, learn to say no appropriately. Because if you have piled up work, if you have incomplete work and you keep on adding up to that, it's actually making your burnout worse. So it's actually good that you don't overextend yourself. You have to learn to say no. You have to set your boundaries. Yes.
Wow, such a great. Yes, thank you so much. And that we actually need to think about it before think about the burning situation for our starting career. So I will give my opinion later on. So yes, I can see the comments from Shir Grace Abraham. Thank you, sir. My spirit is lifted. Actually, I lost my husband. We really feel sorry to hear that. I think, my dear, from our panelist, Daud Abdul Karim, I think he can able to share some of the words regarding that. So we have to actually maintain that and move on to our own life. And also, please pray for your husband or pray for your lover one, and I do believe that your prayer is very, very vital for that person to get the paradise. So let's move on to the same question. So I would like to get the answer from my dear brother, Dawud Abdul Karim. Can you please share your views that what are your advice for the people who are actually starting to feel burnout for their career? Brother, we would like to get your answer.
Yes. Okay. In terms of us today, I want you to know that it's very important to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Move on. As a being, you can't function properly without mental stability. And even to be physically okay for you to be able to work or to carry out some tasks. Also emotionally, three these three parts must be complete. One, they all work connectedly. So one of my advice for you watching us out there is that not the end of the world, and it's not late to start again. It's not too late to start. Using or finding yourself in a specific situation, unable to carry out some tasks or unable to in your career, there's need for you to think and look at yourself. Is this career I'm pursuing suitable for me, or is it to work on? You look at the nature of your being and how this career suits you and what its profit will give to you. Use that to impact on the society. By the time you face some difficulties or some trials, that doesn't mean you should give up. Actually, Comrade Mausen too, in his in one of his articles on practice, he said failure is the mother of. In a long run, we humans try to carry out some tasks that will fail at the process. You don't relax due to the fact that you are exhausted. Keep on trying. According to him, you need to keep on try and look at where your mistakes is, and you try to draw out the line to correspond your world. Then you attain success. That is why you see that yes, failure is actually the mother back to success from his idea. So never you give up and keep on trying, and it's never too late to start again, whereby by the time you find out that it doesn't suit you, there's need for you to also go back to your drawing board and look at where you are getting it wrong and choose the career whereby you see that yes, you could actually in it. There's no one that is being given birth to with a two brain or with the best brain. It's just that we need to work on ourselves. That's what we need to look out for. That's
Yes.
advice from me to you, the audience, is that it's not a crime to take a break or to go. Sometimes we find out that we are experiencing a lot of burnout, but we don't know how to tackle it. Everything. So sometimes we don't know. We forget to take break or to go on vacation so that we could free our mind. Because by the time there's no way to move forward or backward, then there's need for you to look at possible solution. Taking a break or vacation is one of the solutions that will enable you to be able to have breakthrough to prevent yourself from burning out. From there, you'll be able to think of other solution and idea. You discuss with friends that you go on vacation with, or friends you take a break with, or you work with. You try to see how you be able to seek out solutions. And thirdly, my last advice to you people watching, but not the least, because I have a lot of advice due to time factor and nature of the bulkiness, I would try to limit. You need to feel enthusiasm to your you need to add enthusiasm or joyfulness or happiness to your career. By the time you do it with joy and happiness, do it with a lot of consciousness, and let it be part of you. It's not yours. Do it as if it is yours. Take it as if it's something you establish and you want to on people, and you want to establish it to actually achieve a specific goal. Take it as if it's part of you. From there, you see that by the time you add enthusiasm to your career, enthusiasm and joy, you carry it out with joy, you will find out that the things you do will go smoothly. You will not even notice that you are even overworking yourself. That burnout will be like. So please, my dear brother and sisters, parents, junior ones, other ones, try to add enthusiasm, try to be joyful, try to be happy with what you are doing, so that you will be able to find, because it is actually difficult for you to carry out a task with a sad mind, or let me say, maybe you have been given a job you don't want. You find difficulties in being productive and creative, and in so doing, you find it difficult to also progress or to be promoted in such kind of areas, or enthusiasm, joy, and love, and make your environment friendly, so that you'll be able to carry out your job or your career smoothly. So that even you don't ask of idea when some kind of limitation or some kind of wrong actions or wrong way you are tackling some issue, because of the way you keep the environment friendly and the way you like to bring in idea, they will call your attention to where you are getting it wrong. They will try to put you through without you even asking. So please make sure you make your environment friendly also. Thank you very much. That's what I have for you, the audience, for now, and you go with us.
Wow, what impactful sharing.
To
What
share
impactful
ideas
sharing,
also.
my dear
Thank you.
brother. What impactful sharing. Thank you so much. Bravo. You have said such a great way. Never give up. Keep trying. Keep working on it. And of course, be enthusiastic, be enjoyable, be joyful, and feeling the spiritual feel that you can able to do that. Wow, you have covered all the things together. Actually, nothing things are left to say. Actually, I am going to share my views, but you have shared all my views in your words. Thank you so much for articulating. I do believe that whoever actually looking for the career, looking for the job, please listen the advice from my dear honorable Devra, as well as my dear brother Dawud Abdul Karim. So I can think that you were able to get the possible way to charge yourself, to enrich your skills and ability to get a great starting career. Because if you actually lose your confidence, if you are losing your all the positive vibes, actually nothing gonna work. And before that, I have just one point that I need to share. Before starting your career, please invest yourself. Invest yourself with learning some possible training that will let you help to get the job. If you are an entrepreneur, try to involve yourself and enrich your all the soft skills and be emotionally intelligent to get into the entrepreneurship world. So yes, that's all about my message. I'm not going to that much longer. So last message. So I would like to get the last message from Devra. Can you please share last message to all of us?
All right, so the last message is, even as you are working or maybe you're experiencing burnout because of other things, it's important that you set some time for yourself. Set it might be for care, listening to music, meditating, exercising. It's very important because when you get overwhelmed, you tend to forget that you need yourself too. Then also talking to someone, talking to people really helps. Someone, a friend, or maybe a professional might have the tips you need to actually be better, get over what you're going through. Yes, I think that's what I have for us to go away with.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we
Yes.
have to think about it. We have to talk with other person and relatives to feel positive, to get the positive vibes from others. Yes, my dear brother, in spite of having so much obstacles, you are actually empowering us such a your beautiful words. So last message for all the audience. Dear brother, we would like to get have your answer or have your thought. The last message for the audience. Okay, maybe the another technical glitch. And thank you so much to all of you. My dear brother, Daud Abdul Karim, can you hear us? Okay, no problem. So let's move on. And we have a great session today. We are talking about that burnout. How can we prevent the burnout situation? So, what are the symptoms of burnout? And whenever you have been experiencing the burnout, what do we actually, whatever, what you actually face this the problem? What will be the possible preventive action regarding the burnout? And how can we take care of ourselves to reduce the burnout situation? And of course, the last message for the advice the people who are starting their career think about, facing the burnout situation. Thank you so much, dear honorable panelists, Debra and Juka, and my dear brother Abdul Karim, for your great contribution and great ideas sharing. And we are really, really like to have you for the any upcoming shows because you guys are very uh, productive. You guys are very sharing such a fantabulous contribution in the today's live show. And I, of course, all the audience and whoever commenting us for the several time to share your views and ideas as well as question. Thank you so much for being with us, and we are really appreciate your support and contribution. So that's all about today's session. Thank you so much to all of you for being with us and have a good day. Be healthy, be emotional intelligent, and be a healthy, lead a healthy life. Thank you so much. Thank you, George and Nath. Thank you so much to all of you. Bye bye. Have a great day.